my tips on loads of different topic areas that I've learned. So I'm Victoria, I'm the founder of the program, and I'm just so excited to be sharing loads of different things. We're going to talk about travel all the way through to like productivity, relationships, and so much more. And it's just going to be so much fun and just real, to be honest. So today's session, as you've probably seen, session or like episodes, or I don't know. You guys comment below what we should call these. But today's talk, what we're going to be talking about is all about travel. Yes! So I absolutely love traveling. Well, I started really traveling 4 years ago when I started university. And I've been to loads of different places, 14 places across Europe, Africa, Asia, and I just learned so much and picked up so many tips along the way, and I just think it's going to be so helpful for all of us when lockdown is over and we're able to see, different places. I think it's just going to be so great to actually explore and to go, on new adventures. So I've got loads of tips to help you guys when you're actually going to start traveling or thinking of traveling. If you're a first time, traveler, all the way through to I go places, that's absolutely fine, but I hope this helps you. And to be honest, these are the tips that some of them are my tips I've been thinking about, and some of them are my friend August's tips, who I always travel with her, or travel a lot with her, and she sent me some tips, which are just great. So get ready, guys, let's go. Number one, when it comes to flights and searching for flights, I would say use a site called Skyscanner. Skyscanner literally can help you compare loads of different flights, and it looks by airlines, time of day you really want to travel, and then you can get the best deal and save loads of costs there. So use Skyscanner. And also think about what time you really want to travel. So there's peak times, school holidays, everyone's abroad, but also during the week. So weekends are going to be, tickets will probably be more expensive compared to weekdays. So definitely consider that when it comes to traveling. And also when it comes to luggage, I would also say, which is super important, really think about how much you're taking with you. I know some of us, and it depends, again, loads of this advice that I'm going to give to you today will depend on the kind of trip you're going on, whether it's going to be an all-girls trip where you're just going to be laying on the beach somewhere, to an actual full-packed, adventurous, interrail experience. But luggage is so important. I, sometimes take so much with me, and I rarely use any of it. Oh, I mean, not any. I have to stay clean, but I don't use as much as I take with me. So I would think really you can save a lot of money with making sure that you are, taking what you need with you. And if you're going to take a big suitcase of 23 kg, ask yourself, do I need that, or can me and my friend take one suitcase with us that's 23 kg? And then other places, a lot of airlines will allow you to take on actually there's new regulations that have come in place, but more so you're allowed to take hand luggage, which is normally 10 kg. You can fit a lot in a 10 kg space, and that is also why it's also really good to Google how to, and I know you may feel really, but trust me, how to pack your bag properly. Sometimes maximizing space in your suitcase is so important, and so many people don't know how to pack properly. There's tips with roll pieces of items and put them inside your shoe. It saves spaces, and people don't really know that, so I think that's also really important. Next, when it comes to budgeting, I would say use Monzo. So I really enjoy Monzo, and I think when I've been abroad, it's great to actually see what you're spending, where you're spending it, but also it will actually when you land, it will tell you the exchange rate of the place you're in, and I think that's just also so helpful, because so many people, I remember when I went to Bali, and I honestly didn't really understand the currency, but Monzo will let you know exactly the exchange rate in that country, and I think that helps. You can lose sometimes a lot of money if you go to currency exchange shops. Sometimes it's great, but I think if you're traveling like in Europe, you know, use your Monzo cards. You won't be charged extra, and you'll be able to track everything instead of like going and changing your currency. I found that really easy. Next, if you are you're in the country and you want to make the most of it, places in Europe, I would say, there's actually other places, but like free walking tours are amazing. Like, use those opportunities, and essentially these are you'll find in loads of different cities around the world guides that will actually show you around like a different city for 3 hours for free. Like, I think you could tip them, but it's not compulsory. But you can go to all the famous landmarks, you know, and learn about the history. You can meet other people who are also on the tour, and that, you know, covers so much of your trip. So I would always say, like, go on a free walking tour, do that at the beginning, because then you can like have your own tour or go back to some places towards the end. So I would definitely say free walking tours. You can literally type on Google Madrid free walking tours, and loads of different sites will come up. There's one that tend to always use sentiment, something like that. But if you probably Google, you'll see that like they're great. I've like used them for like I think 10 loads of trips, and I'm the person that I love when I travel, learning about the history of the country I'm going to, and going to the galleries and museums. And yeah, there's so many ways that you can do that for free on a budget. Public transport, like, I know it's sometimes you may feel like, oh, but I'm in a new country, I'm a bit nervous, I don't know how to use public transport. Trust me, sometimes it's so cheap. Normally when I go abroad, I always tend to use the public transport because it's easy. There's great metro systems around different. We're looking at Europe in particular, but Europe has great metro, safe systems, and you know, you can get a really cheap price, and you can again learn about the stocks, or you can new things. I would definitely say, like, use the public transport. One of the tips that August sent me, which I think is just so great, is that there's a site called roadtorio.com, and she was able to find loads of compare actually loads of prices for when it comes to bus, train, ferries and planes whilst travelling in Europe. So you can, you know, look for everything. So that's Rome for Rio. Again, can really compare when it comes to Europe. Next tip I would definitely say is pack lunches, or, you know, just stocking up on food. It is, and this, like, I think it's so important to understand that when you're abroad, you probably will get hungry. You will be hungry a lot, and you're going to be going to different places. And maybe if your trip is like, you know, very active, you're going to be going to loads of different museums, or like you go to the beach, or like different places. So sometimes it's better to take, you know, some packed lunches with you, and spend the evening before going on a nice walk to the local supermarkets, and then getting some of their discounted things that, you know, won't expire soon, and you can just take bits and pieces. Obviously, have nice dinners, have nice breakfasts, but sometimes if you actually just want to save a little bit more money, definitely go to the grocery stores in the evening, and you'll be able to save. Able to get some like discounted food there. Next tip I will definitely say is share your location with the person or people you're traveling with. Sometimes if you're going abroad and you do not speak the language and you get lost, it's happened to me before, like it can be not a pleasant experience. But if you've shared your location, make sure you have data as well. Sometimes Wi-Fi is, you know, you can get lost, and you don't want that experience. Like, I've had it, and it's not what you want when you're somewhere away for 7 days. So definitely share your location with the people you're traveling with. That also helps. Next, I would say, this is also a really good tip that August gave me, is that if you're trying to travel somewhere overnight, if you're trying to like travel a long place by bus or train, do that in the night time. So to make that journey in the night time, because then that's when the tickets are really cheap, and also you don't need to stay in a hotel, and you can save you know, your money by being on a coach, or being on a bus, or being on a train. And yeah, so basically by, you know, taking long journeys overnight, you're able to sleep on a coach, bus, tube, train, whatever your form of transportation you're taking, and then the next day wake up in a new city without having to stay in a hotel, so that overnight journeys are cheaper and you can save a lot of money. Next, I would definitely say, actually, which is my last tip, is make friends with the local people. Obviously, be safe, guys, but I think they live where you're going and they know that city inside out, and they will be able to tell you loads of great restaurants or places to visit, or how to make the most of your trip. And I think sometimes when people go, in particular with Europe, when you travel around Europe, you can kind of face the problem where you're going to great places, but everything is you're being charged extra for loads of different things. But then when you meet the local people, they'll be able to actually tell you, do you know what, this restaurant is absolutely amazing. They have the best Turkish delight, let's say, and it's around the corner and not many people know about them, So I would definitely say speak to the locals. If you're going on a free tour guide, that person will be, from the local area and be able to help you as well. But those are all of my tips. I will definitely say. Actually, my last tip is make sure, guys, that you really think about who you're traveling with. I've traveled with loads of different people and I've had amazing trips, but I've come to the realization that you are with this person, whoever you're traveling with, for such a long period of time, and it's so important that you really get along and you've established before you go on holiday what kind of trip you want. Loads of people do not do this, and when they get to that place, someone wants to have a more beachy, relaxing holiday, and then someone else wants to be up at 5 a.m. going about different places, and because you never established actually what you want to get out of this trip, you miss out what you want to get out of the trip, and also that can cause sometimes frictions, and that's why you sometimes hear of those stories of friends who go on trips together and they come back and they're not the best of friends, because essentially living with someone and traveling with someone will really show you a lot. So make sure you're really thinking before you're booking any tickets or planning any trips of what kind of trip am I really interested in going and who do I want to travel with. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Share It Sis, and we'll be back next Sunday at 8 o'clock for a new episode. Until then,